Alfred Adler's legacy is more than a set of psychological theories. It's a compassionate invitation to understand ourselves and one another through the lens of courage, purpose, and community. As we journey deeper into his world, let's pause and reflect on why fear matters so much in our daily lives. From the small anxieties that nibble away at our peace, to those seismic tremors that shake our foundations, fear is a force we all grapple with. Yet, Adler's wisdom suggests that fear need not defeat or diminish us. Instead, it can be the very crucible in which our character is forged. To understand fear through Adler's eyes, we must first look at the roots he identified. The feeling of inferiority. This isn't a flaw. It's a universal, even necessary experience. From childhood onward, we're confronted with our limitations, moments when we fall short, miss the mark, or face comparisons against others. Adler saw in these feelings not a reason for shame, but a spark for aspiration. Every act of courage, every bold leap, is born from the acknowledgement that we are not yet what we might become. The goal isn't to eliminate these feelings, but to transform them, using our fear not as a wall, but as a window through which possibility shines. Imagine for a moment the first time you ever felt afraid to speak in front of a group. Your heart raced, palms dampened, the urge to shrink away almost irresistible. Through Adler's lens, this is not merely stage fright. It's your social nature coming alive. We all crave acceptance, and the prospect of judgment awakens our vulnerabilities. But Adler's approach is not to scold the fear or suppress it. Rather, he'd encourage you to see it as evidence of your desire to connect and contribute. Fear, then, is proof that you care, that you're reaching for significance among your peers. So how do we work with this fear? Adler's answer is strikingly practical. Start with the smallest possible step. If you shrink from public speaking, perhaps you read your thoughts aloud to yourself, then to a trusted friend, and only then to a broader audience. Each tiny act is a demonstration of courage in the face of imperfection. You allow yourself to be seen, uncertain, searching, growing. In doing so, you build psychological muscles that expand with every experience. The fear may never vanish, but its grip loosens as your vision of yourself expands. Let's further ground these ideas by exploring Adler's notion of life tasks. He believed that each person faces three universal challenges: work, friendship, and love. Fear shows up in all three. At work, you might fear failure or mediocrity. In friendships, the dread of rejection or betrayal. In love, the terror of abandonment or inadequacy. Adler invites us to recognize these fears as signposts. They reveal where we most want to belong and contribute. The answer is not withdrawal, but engagement. Consider the workplace. Suppose you're afraid to propose a new idea, haunted by past criticisms or an internal voice that says, "Why would they listen to me?" Pause and recognize. That inner voice is part of your lifestyle, shaped by old narratives. Adler encourages you to challenge it, to ask, whose voice is this? Does it serve my goals? You might then reframe your script. My perspective could help the team. Even if it's not perfect, it's worth sharing. With practice, this new story gradually becomes your inner truth. Fear of intimacy is another profound example. Adler believed that the urge to withdraw from relationships, to avoid revealing our true selves, stems from a fear of being found unworthy. Yet, he argued, real connection demands vulnerability. When you risk true openness, sharing your doubts and dreams with a partner, you not only build deeper bonds, but also affirm your own value. Every authentic exchange, every moment of honesty is a victory over fear. Adler's concept of social interest, or Gemeinschaftsgefühl, community feeling, is crucial here. Social interest is the feeling of being part of something larger, the sense that all human beings are interconnected. Fear pulls us into isolation, whispering that we're alone in our struggles. The antidote, Adler argues, is to reach out, to participate, to help, to ask for help. Fear loses its power when we remember we are part of a tapestry, each thread supported by the others. If you struggle with social anxiety, Adler might suggest volunteering, joining a group, or simply starting a conversation with a neighbor. Each act of connection undermines the illusion of separation and reminds you, you matter, you belong. But what about those fears that seem glued to our bones? Phobias, chronic self-doubt, or relentless self-criticism? Adler would remind us that these too are shaped by choices, often subconscious, that grew from early experiences. His method isn't to uproot them by force, but to shine a light on the unconscious purposes they serve. For example, persistent shyness might have protected you as a child from ridicule or disappointment, but as an adult, it becomes a barrier to fulfillment. By understanding the origins and function of your fear, you can begin to choose differently. The shift is from "I can't" to "I choose." With insight comes agency. The play between fear and courage is a recurring theme in Adler's writing. He never demanded the impossible, that we become fearless heroes. Rather, he championed what he called the courage to be disliked. This means standing for your authentic values, even in the face of misunderstanding or criticism. It's a radical act, to follow your convictions, to make decisions that reflect your true self, even if others judge or disapprove. Not recklessness, but principled living. The reward? A life of integrity and inner peace. Take a moment to reflect on a recent fear that's visited you. Perhaps it was the fear of making a mistake at work, or the anxiety before a difficult conversation. Ask yourself, what value or goal is this fear defending? When we ask fear what it's trying to protect, we often find it's not the enemy, but a guardian of something precious. Your integrity, your connection, your dreams. The next time fear arises, try greeting it with curiosity rather than hostility. What do you want me to know? Another powerful Adlerian strategy is goal setting, a practice rooted in fictional finalism. Begin not with your limitations, but with your dreams. Picture your future self, living with courage, contribution, and connection. Let this imagined vision pull you forward through discomfort and uncertainty. Rather than waiting for fear to disappear, you act in spite of it, step by step, guided by your desired outcome. Of course, the path is seldom easy. There will be setbacks, moments when fear overwhelms, when criticisms sting or plans unravel. Adler's wisdom here is gentle but firm. Be kind to yourself. Every stumble is a lesson, not a verdict. The willingness to be imperfect is the soil from which all real growth springs. Give yourself permission to be a work in progress, to fail and try again. So as you move through the days ahead, remember Adler's message. Fear is not an error, not a signal to stop, but an invitation to grow. Welcome it as a guide, listen to the stories it tells, and gently, persistently begin to rewrite them. Seek connection, foster community, and keep your eyes on the vision of the person you wish to become. There will be moments of doubt. Embrace them as part of the journey. In the quiet moments of your life, when fear flickers at the edge of your dreams, remember Alfred Adler's counsel. You are not alone. Your fears are shared by all, and within every tremble lies the seed of greatness. Step forward, however uncertainly, into the unknown. Let fear become your teacher, your compass, and ultimately, your companion as you strive to create a life of courage, connection, and meaning. Take that step this week. Whether it's a conversation you've avoided, a project you've postponed, or an invite you've declined out of anxiety, act with the knowledge that fear is not your master, but your potential, manifesting as a challenge. And in each act of bravery, no matter how small, you will find yourself drawing closer to the person you're meant to be.